Hello, folks. It's Michael here. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Are you doing good? Are you doing well with all the stuff that's going on in the world? I hear now people might not get their food stamps or I don't know what they call it anymore. That's what they called it when I was young. Food stamps, SNAP benefits. So that's pretty bad. I think it's really bad. And but I won't get into it because everybody has their own opinion about the problems. We just have two sides that really can't get along, and they never want to. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they really want to help the people very much. Because now I heard that ballroom that Trump is building, even though it's private money, it's like $250 million. So why can't they use that? Why can't see people do have money? Why can't they donate that money to help the poor, or give them medical treatment? But no, they have other agendas. Anyway, that's all beyond my control. That's all out of my control. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about is a simple story that I have to tell you. I have to tell you this simple story. When I was growing up, I think I might have been 10 years old. I was playing in the neighborhood. My parents would let me just go out. I mean, not like blocks away, just to like a few of the neighbor houses and stuff. And this man, he lived like right across the street from me. His house was beautiful, and he had a massive backyard. Well, when you're little, you think it's massive, but then when you grow up, you go over there and you realize it's just a backyard. It was kind of like this huge, like Graceland. But then when I grew up, realized it was just a backyard. And his name was, we called him Bunky. I don't know why, Mr. Bunky. Maybe that's what he wanted us to call him. And once in a while, he'd give us like 50 cents or a dollar, mostly like 50 cents because you could buy a lot back then. So we kind of chum around with him. We'd see him in the neighborhood. We'd run over to him and say hi. Then he started telling me these stories. He kept telling me he was at Anzio. And then, I didn't know anything about that. He goes, "Yeah, I survived Anzio and I was at Anzio." And, I just kind of blew it off. I was 10 years old. I just thought, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And kept running around the neighborhood. And then he told me this, several times. He goes, "I was at Anzio and I survived." And then when I grew up, I'm sure he's gone now. I realized that he was at Anzio in World War II. It was a famous battle. I don't know the whole details. I could be wrong. But I did read a little bit about it in school and stuff and watched on TV. I guess the Americans landed on this beach in Italy called Anzio. And first, they didn't meet any opposition, so they didn't fully take advantage of that and go inland. So the Germans quickly brought up heavy reinforcements and surrounded the beach and just started firing into it with their weapons and bombarding it. And I guess after that, for the rest of the war, it just turned into a living hell. So yeah, he told me that he was at Anzio, and I didn't realize what he was telling me till it was too late. Yeah, so that's what I heard about Anzio. That they landed on Anzio, and it was in Italy. It was called Anzio, a town, or I guess it was a town. And they at first they didn't have any opposition, so they were slow to move inland. So the Germans brought up heavy reinforcements and just started bombarding the crap out of the place. And it just turned into a nightmare for the rest of the war. So that is the story I wanted to tell you. So please subscribe to my channel. I am 62 years old, and I know people get mad. I do take donations. My address is on my site. So have a good day.